Hi, everybody's and all the delegates participating in the third ECC Earth Science and Climate Change Conference. This is Niranjan Kumar, a participant of the Earth Science and Climate Change Conference. I would like to present my paper titled Modeling Greenhouse Gases through Curium Rutherfordium Interatomic Nuclear Chain Reactions. So, in climate change, which is one of the most foremost and burning topics globally for the climate scientists and the researchers and physicists as well. So, this event is mainly focused on the innovations and studies conducted in the field of earth science and climate change. So, I would like to demonstrate one of my innovative technology discovered by me, as it is entitled before you. Climate change is basically the weather persisting in an area for a longer period of time is the climate, and the alteration or change is the climate change. And the climate change happens due to the greenhouse gases, GHGs, basically carbon dioxide, methane, and CFC. The impacts of climate change is also well known. The submerging coastal area to the genetic level and extinction of many flora and fauna that sits and is an important topics globally. The basic component GHGs is always a challenge before the scientist to estimate it accurately in the atmosphere. So I would like to first give some lights on how this GHGs makes a causes for the climate change. The GHGs, the carbon dioxide, methane, 1.5 times more potent than carbon dioxide, and CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, all are emerged from the natural or anthropogenic activities at the earth by humans and other animals and plant as well. And all these gases reaches to the atmosphere in the stratosphere or troposphere, which is up above 80 to 70 kilometer, 80 to 120 kilometers from the earth, and there it get accumulated and reacts. So what is that stratosphere and troposphere, where it roles become importance for a study? Actually, this is stratosphere and tropospheres. This is the thick layers of the gases which absorbs the harmful rays coming from the cosmic or outer space to the earth and prevents the human being and others from its harmful impacts. So these three gases, when reaches out in concentrations, means when the concentration is very high, then it damages that ozone layers or the thick layers, which is the which absorbs the rays coming to the grounds, and they damages it, and the damaging causes the ozone hole, and that ozone hole allows the harmful rays to reaches to the earth and impacts the flora and fauna in the form of raising global temperature and the global average temperature makes causes the raising in the glacier, raising in the level of sea levels, and as well as glacier melting. So all these are the well-known phenomena. But the GHGs gases also plays an important role in the process of photosynthesis and many life-supporting physiological reactions on the earth for our well-beings. So these GHGs accurately estimations for the purpose of understanding is very important. That how to quantify the gases in the atmosphere accurately, and then we can change the pattern or alterations in the form of impacts of climate change. So earlier or till now, what the scientists are doing, they are in the current methods, they just use the high volume sampler. They sample the gases from the atmosphere through high volume sampler machines, and after that they absorb the samples and they analyze it in the laboratory chemically, and after that they decided that this much of concentrations of these carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbon, and methane is in the atmospheres of the prevailing areas, and on the basis of that the scientists get the data and they analyze it and they concluded some research. But in my case I have done a bit different, that is the model curium Rutherfordium interatomic nuclear chain reactions. In these methods I have selected two areas. One is Tomias Meghalaya, very dense forested area, and other is Kiul Khagor Lakhisarai, Bihar, that is a city area and in the plains, and that is densely populated. So in these two areas, that is far apart, thousands to 2000 kilometers away from each others, and we sampled in that two locations the water and studied and applied this model. So I would like to first discuss some things about what is the model. Then the model is that it works on the atmospheric reactions happening in that atmospheres, that is because of the generation of oxygen 18. Oxygen 18 is the isotopes of oxygens which is generated by the lightning when the two ionic clouds collided. Then lightning happens, and in that lightning the nitrogen presence in that atmospheres almost 70% to 78% nitrogens is normally present, and that nitrogens get reacted with the hydrogen and helium present in the atmosphere, and they generate the oxygen 18 which is the isotopes of oxygen and has an half-life of oxygen 100 days. So these oxygen 18 pour down from the atmospheres to the grounds. The oxygen 18 laden water in the form of water pour down to the ground, and in the ground there is a curium metal particle. Curium, what is curium? Curium is an element of period 7s and transactinides and actinides groups, and it is a white lustrous metals, and that atoms of curiums, this is prevailing in the lithospheres, get combined with that oxygen 18 and generate rhodium 261 by liberating 5 ions and hydrogen atoms, and they makes rhodium 261. So this curium 248, the isotopes of curium is curium 248, have a half-life of 18.7 years, almost 20 years to 2 decades. So in this, when we know the concentration of oxygen 18 in the atmospheres, then we can easily get the concentration of metal present in the lithospheres of that two areas, and by the equivalence law of chemistry. And after that, when we get the concentration of metal present in that area, then we can easily find out the reactive oxygen 18s in that atmospheres, means source and sink hypothesis, because that oxygen 18 source is the atmosphere and sink is the lithospheres where the curium particles is there. So when that source of oxygen 18 reaches to that grounds, or reacting with the curium 248, then the equivalence and propositions law of chemistry, it also, and this oxygen is also combines with the carbon, with the methane, and with the chlorofluorocarbon present in the atmospheres. So when we came to know the concentration of that metal, then we easily came to know the concentrations of, or the input rates of that CO2, methane, and that CO2, methane, and that chlorofluorocarbons. So in this research, what we did, we have calculated, we have sampled the water from that hills and city, Keulkhagor, and we ran that water in the gas chromatograph machines, and the results of the oxygen 18 level were 64 ppm and 410 ppm respectively. I mean 64 ppm in the forested plain Shillong's water, and 410 ppm was in that Keulkhagor water, that was underground water sample. Water sample were collected from a hand pump in that areas, and after getting the concentration of 64 ppm and 410 ppm, we have modeled the concentrations of metal in both the area, and the metals concentrations come about curium 0.99 ppb and Rutherfordium in the same way. And by modeling these methods, then we have calculated the rate of input by the radioactive decay constant, that is well known, dN by dt over lambda is equal to lambda n, and from that we estimated the values, that is 1 to 6 million tons of greenhouse gases is contributed in the atmospheres of these two areas, and the CO2 level input is higher in the forested areas, while the chlorofluorocarbon levels is higher in the cities areas, and in estimations it is something around 766.7 to 136.6 for the methane, and 0.20 grams and 180 in that Keulkhagor water, 84 gram, and 136.6 tons in the Keulkhagor for that chlorofluorocarbon, and 76.7 for that methane, and 180.4 for CO2. So this is the overall finding, and the CO2 is more in that